everybody. Welcome to episode 128 of Spittin Chiclets, presented by New Amsterdam Vodka. Hope everybody out there had a wonderful Thanksgiving, long weekend. Let's check in with the fellas, see if they had nice days off. Let's go to Paul Biz Nasty in the desert first. He's the Canadian who celebrated an American Thanksgiving. How'd it go with you, buddy?
Not great, boys. Yotes are having a tough stretch of games right now. But speaking of Thanksgiving, I was in bed at 7:30, so caught up on some sleep and ready to go here, boys.
There you go. Next, buddy, Mikey Grinelli. Mikey, you didn't stay down in New York for Thanksgiving. You came back home, correct?
Nope. Yeah, I was back in Boston for the weekend. I had a great weekend. It was a blast.
Any stories to report?
None that are probably appropriate for the podcast.
Not appropriate for this. Yeah, all right, last but not least, our boy Ryan Whitney. Whitney, what's up?
What is up, fellas? Happy Thanksgiving, Biz. I just watched the Yotes get stomped by the Flames. I was ugly. Had the Flames, though. Thank you. How are you guys doing? How was everyone's day? I saw you with one of the hottest guys of all time, Biz, for Thanksgiving, right?
Tyler Pyatt, looking good. Oh, man, he's so handsome. But, boys, first off, whose idea was it to put Ryan Whitney on the live feed for the Instagram? I watched that entire video last night. I was fucking dying.
I said to Grinelli, he used to say it to me all the time, you should go on and do that. And then I always was like, no chance. And then last night, I don't know why, I just was sitting around. I'm like, I should just do this right now.
You're pretty good at it. Not going to lie. So? Oh, you were awesome. I mean, yeah.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. I was like, all people were saying though is get this guy in the pod. Get this guy in the pod. Yeah, dude, I know. Dude, I know. Hey, get Mitch Marner on the pod. You think? No shit, dude. Hey, man, get Bobby Orr on the pod. Oh, okay. Thanks yeah, I'll do that. But it was still fun.
Oh, I didn't even know you were doing it. I would have jumped in and chirped you. Yeah, that's it. I say at the beginning, listen, we want everybody on the show, so don't bother asking. If you're asking, then we want them on. So just ask, save yourself a question and do something better.
Well, actually, someone said, you got to get Frederick Gauthier on. I'm like, hey, listen, nothing against like that guy. He's made some good plays this year for the Leafs, right? He's not exactly top of the list. Chiclets.
It's like, hey, here's an idea. How about you start a fucking podcast and you get all the people you want on it yourself?
By the way,
trash.
Yeah, by the way, Grinelli, you're the one who told me, like, yeah, this weekend I'm going to clean up, dude, back in Boston, man. And he went to the Grand last night, Biz, at some big club in Boston. Like, and then all of a sudden, no stories I could tell on the podcast.
What do you mean? Hey, so let's start from the beginning. So when did you get home? On Wednesday, which is the big night, correct?
Yeah, big night, real big night.
Where'd you go Wednesday?
Went out in South Boston. Had a night Southie.
All right, and you meet a nice little lady?
Yeah. Yes, I did.
Repeat?
Repeat? He said hello.
It was not a repeat, no.
Whoa!
Road game? Obviously a road game. You live in New York.
Hey, you're like, oh, man, just only if we were in New York. You should see my pad there. It's covered in mice, but it's still sick.
Well, tag team with Mighty Mouse.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, so then you went to the Grand, and then you got a table. How'd that go?
Oh, unbelievable. I love them there. They take care of me. Do they? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They hook me up in there.
Grinelli's only thing he wrote when I was on that Instagram Live was, hey, can you pay for this table?
It was no. What was awesome though was there was a group. The table next to us was a huge group of Spittin Chiclets listeners. So
there we go.
Made me look like the man.
There we go. That's awesome.
So did you get a waitress's number?
No. Those girls are so hot there, man. They're out of my league.
Out of my league.
Did you meet another lady?
I love how Biz just loves it.
Don't tell me you went.
You get a look in your eye, Biz, unlike any other.
Oh, hey, well, I'm back on the market, and I was out 3 times this weekend, but obviously not drinking.
Yeah.
Boys, I think I got my game back. I think
as the Coyotes, that's what happens when you're on the Coyotes. They were so bad, and you wheeled everything. Then they got good, and you lost your game. It was like the opposite game. Yeah. Coyotes need to be bad for you to just be whacking.
I don't kiss and tell, but let's just say the kids Stella's got her groove back, boys. What other weird shit happened this week? What other weird stuff happened?
Well, we haven't had a biting incident in the NHL since the last time I remember was, of course, the Stanley Cup in 2011 when Alex Burrows took a bite out of Bergeron. Well, a Canuck was up at it again. Antoine Roussel was fined $5,000 for biting Marc-Andre Vlasic in the finger. It was clearly done on tape. He had a bite mark afterwards. He got $5,000. Now, Biz, I asked you if you had ever seen any biting or anything similar in your career, and you told me that you bit somebody yourself, correct?
Well, here's what happened. I was in Tucson playing with the Ontario Reign, and me and a guy on their team, Eric Celly, great guy, good team guy. He was kind of their bruiser. Well, I kind of ran the goalie a little bit to try to get him off his game, like not like hard, but just like after the whistle when he frees it. You know how you kind of like kind of bump into him. Well, we ended up getting in a scrum, and he was on top of me, and he put his hand in my mouth, and he was kind of like trying to like fish hook me. So I just bit right down on his hand, and I actually cracked all my veneers.
Oh, like,
really? My whole front grill just exploded.
I played with Celly in San Antonio. He could fly.
Yeah, he's a good, solid player. I mean,
he talks like this, like, "Hey, where?" You ever talk to him?
Oh yeah.
Hey, where you beauty?
Yeah, he's an old grizzly bear, but but I mean, hey, if you put your fingers in my mouth, I'm biting your fucking fingers. Like,
that's
100%.
No questions asked.
A lot of replies did say that. Well, if you don't want to get bit, don't put your fingers in a guy's mouth. So, I mean, yeah, apparently you tried to fish hook someone. You probably should expect it. What about you, Wits? Did you ever see anything, if not biting, anything similarly dirty or just like something out of the ordinary during your career?
No, I never experienced anything with biting. The only thing that comes close, it's not nearly as bad, is I remember when Burroughs pulled Duncan Keith's hair. That was, I mean, I guess hair pulling and biting aren't the same, but I'm trying to think of other stuff. I don't remember any biting, and since my memory is also trash. I did know about that guy. All right, you see the story in Boston around the news? I forget when it was. Dude who bit the other guy's finger off, and he got charged with mayhem. Imagine biting someone else's finger off.
Yeah, that's the charge they get, mayhem. I went to school with a kid he bit a guy.
If you get charged with mayhem, you got a lot of street cred in my book.
What's the term exactly? Like, how much prison time do you get for mayhem?
I think it's bad news.
Yeah, that's what they charge you, charge of mayhem, and it depends obviously on your prior record. I mean, you could technically get convicted, but if you don't have priors, you probably wouldn't do time for it. But if you've been in and out of the clink, then you're probably going to get get a couple of years for mayhem. That's such a great thing to be charged with, mayhem.
What do you get fined? $5,000, you said?
Yeah, $5,000. Yeah, which
I mean, I do see the point. If your finger's in my mouth, what's one way you get it out? You bite the shit out of it. So.
Okay, so my only comments is obviously they're in the scrum. A lot of shit's going through their head. Obviously, the wires cross a little bit. And his hand was around his mouth. I'm not condoning biting, but just when your hands are being tied up like that by the officials and you're kind of you're helpless, it was probably just his natural reaction to go over and chomp on his hand. I mean, fuck. Hey, give him a game or two. I don't give a shit because obviously there's people wanting them to throw the book at him. But hey, I think $5,000 is fine. Just, maybe put a muzzle on them for a few games and that should do it. Like when you used to break your jaw, they used to play that bubble. You should have to play the half a season with that little fishbowl.
Like the thing from Silence of the Lambs, he's just buzzing around with that mask on.
Hey, they wheel him out for the pregame ceremonies. Like he's like strapped with the straight jacket on.
He doesn't they won't let him get a mouth guard made the next season. They're like, "No, dude, you're out this year. Go to Play It again and buy one yourself."
Hey, Governor, love the suit.
I know that one from the movie. That movie's unreal.
Oh, sick flick. Well, I mean, that's actually one of only 3 movies to sweep all 5 major Oscars at the Oscars.
Really?
Well, yeah.
What are the other 2?
The other 2.
Godfather?
Nope. The first time it happened, it was an old like Clark Gable movie, I think it's called. It Happened One Night. And then it happened One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And then Silence of the Lambs was the last to do it. That's actor, actress, director, picture, and writing, the big 5. Yeah, only 3 movies ever done it. So how you like that there, Biz? Little movie triv from the RA today.
No, I mean, hey, that's what you bring to the pod, man. I don't think I
didn't hate that.
Your American Pie reference landed because I only heard from a few people that got it. What do you got to say? You got some DMs about it?
No, I knew when they said it was a total dad joke. I just let it fly because I don't know. It's such a bad joke. It's almost funny, but people said, yeah, I got it. I just didn't laugh. Some people said I got it and laughed. It was funny. It ran the board, but a lot of people did get the joke, whether they laughed or not.
Instead of doing a Celly season bracket, we should do RA's shit joke bracket of like which ones people didn't get. Hey, some other crazy news in the minor leagues.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. Did you ever hear this guy, Nick Niedert? It's Niedert.
Nick Niedert? That's a real human?
Yeah. I mean, it could be Neidert. I'm going to say Neidert just based on
Nicky Neidert.
He's a 36-year-old goaltender. He signed with the East Coast League's Reading Royals earlier in the day to be I never saw this term before. I'm surprised we hadn't. The E-Bug, which is the emergency backup goalie. I never actually seen it written out like that. But he was signed earlier in the day to be the E-Bug, ends up starting, and he got his first East Coast Hockey League win in 1,032 days. It's basically 3 years, 38 saves on 39 shots. The guy's been in the minors for 15 years per his Twitter feed. And he comes out, they dust him off the mop balls, and he gets a big W. I don't know if you saw the clip online. We could tweet it out. All his teammates are going hoop-de-doo wild for him at the end. It was a great scene because, that's a league that doesn't always get a lot of shine. We don't talk about it a ton here, so it's nice to recognize a feat like that. Biz, you played in that league for a bit, correct?
Oh, yeah. I used to terrorize the Reading Royals. That was a story about when I brought the heavyweight belt on the ice because they had a little rat on their team. He always used to run around and try to hit me, and I beat the absolute fucking wheels off him. He had a tweet. That Nick Neidert, I hope I got it right. After playing now in 15 years in the minors, that tonight was the best, most unselfish bounce back team win I've been a part of. Can't be more proud of the buy-in I saw from 18 players, relentless effort from the entire club. Just remember, I still owe $50 because he probably put money on the board. Which $50 in the coast, that's a lot of dough. That's like we're in the 5K territory for Derek Morris with money on the board.
If you have like 2 or 3 hours, check out his Hockey DB page because it is absolutely incredible. There has to be 30 lines on here.
So Nello Ferreira.
Yeah, maybe some. It actually would be a good contest to see who's played for more teams, but absolutely check it out. It's incredible how many teams this guy.
How about he said like everyone's buying and dude, you think you haven't played in 5 years? I'm pretty sure
they're like, do not allow a shot on goal tonight. Meanwhile, they gave 38 up.
Also, that's a tough locker room. That's a tough locker room who lost that game. They get in there, they're like, geez, boys, guy hasn't even played in this league and. How long already? 4 years?
It was 1,032 days, so a little less than 3 years, I guess.
I thought you were a math guy.
That was tough. I kind of forgot for a second, 365, how many days were in the year. Sometimes, 52 weeks in the year. I mistake those. That was on me, though. It wasn't a very impressive mathematical.
Fake math guy.
But, I guess that's actually not. I was more thinking 5 years, so a little under 3 years. That's still impressive as hell. It's so cool to see, hear what you said in his tweet about him saying that was his coolest moment in 15 years. He's probably been through a lot of shit, and that's why you said, all right, it's good to bring up the coast because. I don't know for a fact, but I think we have a good amount of listeners that play in that league because of how long the bus rides are, and they are grinding, man. Those guys, that's about, you're so close with everyone on your team, and especially when you're a young guy, you're having fun. You don't care. Biz, you can tell us how much fun it was when you were down there. Actually, Biz, finally, I'm remembering. We need to talk about MySpace Love Ship.
Oh God.
Yup.
Well, let me touch on the ECHL and the goalie situation.
Yeah. Go ahead. We'll do that later.
So our awesome trainer, he's actually from Wheeling, West Virginia, Billy Higgins, when I was playing there. He was our full-time trainer, but he also played net in like men's league and in pickup. So whenever we'd have a goalie go down, he would have to like dress up in his goalie gear, and he'd be like sharpening skates in between periods in full goalie gear. And the best part about the minors in the coast is when you're shorthanded, like the coach and quote-unquote GM – are asking guys like, hey, do you have any buddies that live close to this area? Can they come play for us for a couple games? Like just calling up their buddies like, hey, you still got your gear? And they're like, yeah, like, hey, you want to make, $150 a day? And like we would be signing guys like who hadn't fucking skated in like a year or two. And those to me are like, that's why I loved playing in the ECHL. We're just for some of those stories.
So good.
I don't think we mentioned it yet. We do have another pair of guests coming up for today's episode. We have Coyotes defenseman Alex Goligoski, in addition to the little pest himself from the Calgary Flames, Matthew Tkachuk, who's been absolutely fucking lighting it up this year. They'll be joining us a little later. Speaking of goalies, Pekka Rinne became the winningest Finnish goalie in NHL history with the win over St. Louis on Wednesday night. Now, I'm obviously a little older than you guys. Growing up, Finnish goalies weren't really a thing. But I'd say the last 15, 20 years, guys, like, I mean, they've almost kind of become synonymous with the nationality. After Mikko Kiprusoff, he wasn't the first Finnish goalie in the NHL, but after him, it seemed like he kind of opened the doors a little bit. You know, Finland started becoming known for producing quality goalies. You know, you had Kari Lehtinen come after him, Tuukka Rask, Antti Niemi, who won a cup. All these guys followed suit. You know, there's today, right now, there's 7 Finnish goalies in the NHL. 3 of them are starters. So, you know, it's nice to see Pekka Rinne, basically, like, this nationality has become intertwined with a particular position. We don't really see that a lot. So congrats to Pekka if Pekka becoming the winningest Finnish goalie in NHL history.
Yeah, do you want to take it, Whit?
I'll say that, you know, he's just been so consistent. It's so funny that you think at Nashville, you think how good their D is and stuff, but it all kind of comes back to him. I will say, playoffs this year, you know, he's kind of got to perform. He's almost you're starting to hear whispers of not the same guy in the postseason that he is in the regular season. Nonetheless, I mean, unreal achievement. And also, I mean, the entire country of Finland and how they produce players very similar to Sweden. There's 5.5 million people roughly in Finland. I just Googled it. So shout out to people trying to 5.503 million.
Math guy.
There's more people in Massachusetts. No, all right. I mean, it's got to be. If not, it's probably similar. And look at how many players they have, and they're not just like random like Joe Schmoes. They're studs. It's just incredible to see that how they've been able to produce. And I did think of it for a long time as goalies. I remember Kiprusoff when Calgary went to the finals with Commodore. Like, he was just unreal. He has a great vibe all around him. And that was not the beginning of Finnish goalies, but he's what you really think of when it started. And since then, I mean, it's been product after product that are all really competing at a high level.
6.86 million Massachusetts residents right now. So Finland has 5. So think of that, 7. It's like having 7 or 8 goalies just from Massachusetts.
And and then there's Laine, Barkov, Aho. It doesn't really stop either. Heskin and the D-man in Dallas is going to be sick. So it's crazy.
Go ahead, Biz.
So what you're saying is they're probably taking PEDs.
I'm just saying they'd probably smoke Team Mass.
They're probably all on the Kiprusoff diet, which is funny that you brought him up to start, because apparently when he was in Calgary, he was the funniest guy. He'd be out drinking on what do they call it, the Red Mile?
Yeah, I heard he got crushed.
Oh, he would get crushed. He'd be hacking darts. Lauri Kolakowski, I play with him. He was a Finnish player, and he was at a charity event over there that was kind of like a dress-up one where you put on like a nice suit and tie. And apparently Kiprusoff showed up and he was in like the worst jeans, worst tee, and he had those Von Dutch hats.
Yeah, so
but instead of saying Von Dutch on it said Von Bitch. And this guy's at like a 5-star gala, and he wheels in, and his give a fuck meter was so low, but I think that's what made him so good.
Hey, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no. I just heard so many funny stories about Kiprusoff. I just figured I'd bring up that one from my pal, Lauri Kolakowski. I played with in Arizona.
That just reminded me of when my buddies were in from Boston. We were in Pittsburgh, and Max Talbot, he told me a long time ago he'd come on. He's still playing in Russia. But, you know, he's got some great stories. And my buddies are visiting in Boston, so we went to Morton's. You know Morton's in Pittsburgh, Biz? Like down near I don't know, that old hotel.
Yeah, it's like a B-list steakhouse.
Yeah, and at the time, but like right when you turn pro, for some reason, like I thought it was the best. It was like,
yeah, of course, because we don't know what's cool yet.
Yeah, first time we're paying like $50 for a steak, and you're just like, this is incredible. They have that molten lava cake. I used to have 2 of them. I was such a fat slob. But Talbot, we went there, and like, you know, people are dressed up. It's still considered like a really, you know, high-end restaurant. And Talbot had a hoodie on, and on the hoodie said, "Fuck you." So we're walking around, and I'm like, this is unbelievable. Talk about the NHL. You do whatever you want.
Hey, speaking of those lava cakes, apparently when Jeremy Roenick was playing, and by the way, we have him coming up on the podcast later this week. Not a big deal. He was unbelievable. Yeah, but obviously he liked to gamble a little bit, and he bet George Laraque that he couldn't eat like 8 lava cakes. And George Laraque, being as big as he was like, sure I can. I think the bet was $10K. So he got to like 5 lava cakes, and apparently George Laraque was like couldn't stop shaking because he had so much sugar. There's so much sugar in those lava cakes.
Oh yeah, terrible for you.
And keep in mind, this is after they'd already eaten their meal. and he had a lava cake, and that's when he goes, I bet you can't eat like 7 more of those. And sure enough, JR ended up winning the bet.
Oh, that's fucking gross, man. I mean, they're tasty, but I couldn't imagine eating 2 of them, let alone 7. We just mentioned Antti Raanta. Well, we have one of his teammates coming up, Alex Goligoski, is defenseman, so we're going to throw it over to him right now. So now, Alex Goligoski. This interview is brought to you by SeatGeek. Buying tickets can be complicated and confusing, but there is a simple way to buy with SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the smartest, easiest way to get tickets to every type of live event. Whether you're catching your favorite musician on tour, shopping for the perfect gift, or searching for a last-minute deal to see your favorite NHL team, SeatGeek helps you find the best seats at the best prices, fully guaranteed. Nothing beats being there in person for the biggest plays of the year, and SeatGeek will get you closer to the action for a great value. I've had the SeatGeek app on my phone for ages now, and it's by far the easiest way I find to shop for tickets. I can be anywhere, couple of clicks, boom, I find the seats I need within my budget as well. I'm already lined up to get my Stones tickets. They're coming to Foxborough this summer. Can't wait. I'm definitely going to be using SeatGeek to get my tickets for that because it saves me time and money by searching all the other sites out there, compares prices, and lets me know what I want to spend. It's ideal for a guy like me who loves to go to concerts, and you get the most bang for your buck. Also, every purchase is fully guaranteed, so you can shop with confidence. You're not going to get beat by some dirtbag scalper. So make SeatGeek your go-to app for finding the best deals on every type of ticket, from sports and concerts to comedy and theater. Best of all, our listeners get $20 off their first SeatGeek purchase. Just download the SeatGeek app and enter the promo code HOCKEY today. That's promo code HOCKEY for $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. SeatGeek, right seat, right now, right from your phone.
And now, it's my pleasure to bring on former teammate, former roommate of mine, University of Minnesota stud, played there for 3 years. Second-round pick, 61st overall. That's only 56 spots behind me in the 2004 NHL entry draft, even though I was 2002. The man that was so good that he got me traded and made me miss my chance at a Stanley Cup. He's a current Arizona Coyote, Alex Kolakowski. Goose, what's up?
Wow, what an intro. Oh. That was great. How'd you do that? That was amazing.
That is true. You stole his Stanley Cup ring.
He was the guy who, hey, Goligoski, he's a lefty. He skates better than Whitney. He passes it better than Whitney. We don't need Whitney. Get me out of town. And Goose came sliding in, and we were roommates at the time. We were still great buddies, though, even though you were just slowly and surely taking my job one Ambien at a time.
Hey, we didn't even know it was happening, did we?
No, we didn't. We were.
Oh, man. Yeah, that Stanley Cup ring sitting in my office in Scottsdale right now, too.
Oh, your office. What kind of fucking work you doing,
yeah,
you rich
no
fuck?
Shit, Goose. What are you fucking making tea times in your office?
No, I'm hitting the markets, Bloomberg. I got it all up on the screen.
Oh, yeah? Kramer?
Day trader?
Whammy.
Oh, yeah. I'm Jim Kramer. Booyah. Booyah, Jim.
Oh, are you hardcore stock guy?
I mean, I dabble a little bit. I like looking at it.
Which ones should we look out for?
You know what? Actually, something you might be interested in. Those cannabis stocks are taking off right now.
Never heard of it.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We always tell him.
Yeah.
He keeps forgetting every time we tell him.
Hey, Goose. So
yeah.
I recently was telling the story to someone about when you and I would play NHL like 08 and just take Ambience and wake up on the couch with like 6 to 7 finals or 7 to 6. Holy shit, Whit, spit it out. 7 to 6 final scores, and we'd have recollection of the first goal of the game.
Oh God, those were some dark days. That was before anybody knew about Ambien. Everyone was like popping. I'm like, oh my God, this is great. I'm gonna.
Oh, you're such a trendsetter.
These are phenomenal. Yeah, no, and then everyone was like, okay, maybe we should pump the brakes on these things a little bit. But yeah, there were numerous NHL games that were played that we had a final score in the morning.
Yeah, once Heath Ledger shut the mill, it was like, oh fuck, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh wow, we're going real fucking dark here.
Holy shit, a lot of movie references.
Yeah, no shit. Hey,
yeah,
Alex,
let's back off those.
I want to ask you, you played in two very different cities before you got to Arizona, kind of iconic American cities. On one hand, you're Pittsburgh, have U.S. Steel. Michael, we're bigger than U.S. Steel.
Oh, here we go.
What?
On the other hand, you had Dallas. Come on, Godfather 2. On the other hand, you had Dallas, known for the oil, the money, but two very different American cities. But what's one thing that they had very much in common for two wildly disparate cities?
Good question. Yeah, very different cities. In Pittsburgh, obviously blue collar, kind of the hardworking steel. You mentioned it, and Dallas, kind of the big old money oil stuff. But just hockey speaking, the fans are unbelievable. I think a little more diehard in the Pittsburgh area, and maybe a little bit more fair weather in Dallas. But they love their sports equally the same, I think.
Would you say probably who likes football more? I mean, the Steelers are obviously gigantic in Pittsburgh. Is it possible that they like football more in Pittsburgh or more in Dallas? This is a tough one.
Yeah, it's got to be Dallas, I think, though, to be honest.
And the reason why I'll disagree with you, Goose, is because according to statistics, did I say that right? Statistics?
Spit that out again?
1 out of 2 ain't bad.
And this is a bad stat. I was actually disgusted by it. The amount of percentage that domestic violence goes up in Pittsburgh area when the Steelers lose is disgusting. I'm serious. And to me, that tells me that more people's lives are affected by the Steelers than more so.
Yeah, that might be true, but that wasn't really the question, was it?
Well, I'm just giving you
statistical
data.
More like abuse. And
I was trying to save that question from RA.
Criminal charges in what city when their team loses?
Going dark tonight, fucking boys.
Hey, Goose, where are you in mini all off seasons now? You'll always be there?
I am. I'm in mini all off season. Yep. Here right now too. I'm for the Wild tomorrow night.
Oh, really? How many tickets you have to buy?
I'm in my element. What's that?
How many tickets you have to buy?
It's not too bad. It's just like 8 tomorrow, I think.
You've played long
family's like 3 hours north, so they're just, they've seen me play enough. They're just like, whatever, so.
Yeah, the novelty's worn off a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Hey, leave them COD.
Make my old man pay for them.
Hey, for those who don't know what COD means listening, what is it, cash on demand?
Cash on delivery.
Yeah.
Or delivery. Well, I guess I'm not so smart, am I? Next question, Whit.
All right. Well, now, before we get to Arizona and what you're doing currently, I'd love to take a step back and ask you about your first couple years in the NHL. You break in with the Penguins, spent a little bit of time in the minors. Who do you remember as kind of the veterans, the guys that maybe fucked with you a little bit in Pittsburgh when you showed up in town with, that young gun offensive wheeling D-man?
I don't know if anyone was really messing with me too much. I kind of kept quiet, kept to myself, and show the older guys the respect they deserve. But man, there were some beauties on that team. The older guys, I always thought the older guys were just hilarious. Al Gill, Rob Scuderi, those guys, Billy Guerin. They were, for me, those guys are some of the funniest guys I ever played with. So I don't know. I always like kind of hanging out close to them, just hearing what they were talking about, and just kind of keeping to myself.
Hey, one guy that nobody talks about that was on that team was Marian Hossa.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
What was he like?
He was. He was only there for 20 games in the playoffs that first year. I don't know. I didn't really get to know him too much, but he seemed like the nicest guy ever. Whit, were you there? Whit,
he's probably one of the best guys of all time. He was in a slump in the playoffs, and then he went out and got shit-faced, like completely buckled, and went on an absolute tear. He's like, that's all I needed.
Oh, what, the playoff where he had 12 goals and 14 assists?
The year we lost in the finals.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
So you're telling me he went through a slump and he ended up with 26 points in playoffs?
I think the first round, who's it against? Ottawa, maybe? He didn't do much. He was still – that's the thing about that guy. If he didn't score, he was still pretty much the best defensive forward. So when he was rattled, he wasn't scoring, and then just got crippled at Mario's Bar. Not Mario Lemieux, just in Mario's Bar, the name of it, on Carson Street in Pittsburgh. What a spot.
Awesome spot.
And then he caught fire.
Oh, yeah.
Even Goose could get laid in that place.
Well, no, it wasn't that good.
Hey, remember Talbot's house right behind it? He had this.
It was like in Mario's backyard.
Yeah.
It was their
right
parking
behind the bar.
It was Tap-In Central. Literally Mario to fucking Talbot in the back of the net.
The hot tub on the roof.
Hey, Goose, remember you and I would kind of switch spots occasionally on the top power play? It'd be Gonchar, Malkin, Crosby, and then usually Malone in front. And then me or Goligoski would kind of be on the side. And remember just getting, like, tortured by Sid, Gino, and Gonchar? Like, one of them would always tell you fucking screwed up the play. The other two would be like, good pass. The one guy's like, what are you doing? I remember me and you just
it was this guy.
anything right.
It was just with the spot. You're like, oh, God, this is awesome. I'm out here. But just like, I kind of don't want to be out here right now. It's like, I'll never forget Gino one time seamed one to me, and he wanted it back across the seam. Like, the top forward, like, fell down or something, like blew a tire. He seamed it to me. I, like, corralled it, ripped one off the bar, out of play. I was like, oh, okay, that's a good shot. I was feeling pretty good about it. I got back to the bench. Gino is screaming at me down the bench, going, Goga. He called me Goga, which no one has ever called me that before. Goga, pass back. I get you assist. He's screaming at me. It's like, oh, God. So just hiding. I was happy to be there.
Did you have the same fun experience with Michelle Therrien that these guys did, or specifically Whitney?
Oh, my God. He hated you, Whit. Michelle Therrien hated you. Do you remember? I don't know if you remember this. We were playing someone at home. We were up 2-0 in the first, like, whatever, good first period. I don't remember if we played like good or bad or whatever. And Michelle Therrien came in and just ripped you for like 6 straight minutes and just walked out of the room. Just ripped you, just everything you could think of. And you walked out of the room, you just looked around and you're like, what the fuck? Like, why does this fucking guy hate me? Like, you couldn't believe it.
No, I remember being like,
he probably had a bad pitch. Up 2-0 late in the second. Horrible pinch. Leave his other defenseman hung out to dry, which was probably you.
They wouldn't dare put me and him out there together.
No.
God, no. I remember that. And I remember saying, are we losing 2-0? Am I imagining? And everyone's like, no, dude, we're winning. I was like, okay, I just want to make sure.
Double check here.
100%. I can picture Whit saying that.
Remember that Andre Savard?
Oh, yeah. I remember Andre.
Oh, my God. He hated all of us, I think.
He hated everybody. I remember he grabbed my stick once. Do you remember the CCM sticks with the holes in them? Yes. He grabbed my stick out of my hand. I beat up a puck on the point or something and like muffed it, whatever. I got back to the bench and he took my stick out of my hands and he just stared at it for like 10 seconds. And I was looking, I'm like, what is this guy thinking right now? It's like, these holes in your stick? Like, yeah. He's like, Jesus. Well, no wonder you're muffing the puck all over the place. Give me my fucking stick back, Sean.
Give me my stick back. He's like the dodo bird. He's like staring at you. Like, what are you looking at?
He would just stare at you. You just feel him from behind.
I remember. Were you in the game in Philly when we were up 8-0? We were finishing off a road trip that we won all 3 games in Western Canada, and we finished it by flying to Philly, and then we dummied them.
And spanked them. Yeah, I remember that.
We're up 8-0, Biz. And this guy ran the PK. Like, one coach does the power play, one assistant runs the PK. So the Flyers got a power play with a minute to go. They're down 8 Cobb, and they scored a goal. Andre started screaming at people on the ice about how they fucked up and how guys on the bench wouldn't shut the fuck up on the bench because we were trying to tell guys how much time was left in the game. And I was like, all right, that's when I know this guy is a complete goon. We just won 8-1, and he's going to have a heart attack screaming at the Killers.
I blame it on the bench because we were yelling how much time was left to help the other team.
Yeah, you're helping the other team. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? They've been doing this since hockey was invented.
Hey, Grinelli, our producer, wants to ask a question. That's how special of a guest you are, Goose.
Well, Alex, you said, Whit mentioned that you guys were roommates on the road, and besides
at home.
Home. We were home roommates.
That's the best.
Even worse.
So besides getting fucked up on Ambien and playing NHL, what was it like living with Whit? Like, you got any good stories? There has to be something good.
I was just a gentleman.
I don't know. I mean, it didn't seem like we were really there that much, to be honest. I mean, we'd just be there at night, ordering food. Like, you never cooked for me once. We never cooked.
I didn't
right?
see you slaving in the kitchen, Goose. You
were older.
Picking your toenails on the couch.
I was a guest. You know, I maybe a meal here or there. We might have fired something up, but was there a mattress on your patio for like the entire season? Really, an air mattress on your patio, like deflated air mattress that one of your buddies stayed on one time. It was just sitting out there.
I think that was his bed whenever he came. I made him bring his own sheets. I was like, I'll give you the mattress, but you can bring your own bedding.
Yeah, I don't know. We were just a couple of goons. We just sit on the couch and do nothing.
Goose. Go ahead.
I can't think of any real stories.
Yeah, nothing you want to share with the public now that he's a settled down man. We don't want to sewer him too bad.
Dad.
He's a dad. He's a married man. I'm not sure. Listens enough.
His kid's richer than us. All of us.
Not Goose.
Oh yeah, not Goose. Goose has made some good
Goose
point.
is richer than me.
So, yeah, no shit.
I don't know.
Look, I got his cap friendly page here. It's not looking too shabby, my friend. But so fast forward, you get traded in February of 2011. I'm guessing, like most guys, you probably pissed off when you find that you traded. But then when you looked, were you like, holy shit, they traded me for Neil and Niskanen? Were you kind of a little taken aback that there was such a bounty for 2-for-1 trade? Yeah,
I mean, so there's some good young players there for sure. And I mean, they're obviously great players still. Yeah, I mean, I was a little shocked to get traded and didn't really expect it. But, yeah, I mean, Ray Sherrill, GM at the time, he's like, listen, I didn't want to trade you. It was kind of an offer I couldn't refuse, so that was it. I was off to Dallas.
Does it hurt your feelings that Dallas lost that trade?
No, not at all. I loved my time in Dallas. You know, I'm indifferent to it. Really, doesn't bother me.
What was the best part? What was the best part of playing in Dallas? What's the main attraction for a free agent if he's going to go to Dallas?
Oh, it's unbelievable. When I got there, it was
state tax
a disaster. Like it was. I went from Pittsburgh, sold out building every night. The first game I played in Dallas, it was a Tuesday. They were on a 9-game losing streak, 9 in a row. 9 in a row, and they actually
with that lineup. They had Brad Richards, Louis Eriksson, Mike Ribeiro, Morrow, Ben, Neal, Ott. Well, of course, Neal was gone then. Jeez.
Yeah, the team was good. The team was really good. They had a great start to that year. They were like top of the Western Conference for a lot of the year, and they just fell off. They hit this huge skid. My first game there, they're on a 9-game losing streak, and the Devils were coming to town. Like at that time, the Devils were, I think, physically trying not to score goals, playing defense all game. And there had to be 4,000 people there. Like, oh boy, what is this? But it was, I mean, by the time I left there, it was amazing. We got a new owner and they're spending money. The team was awesome. Sold out places. It's definitely one of the best places to play in the league right now.
Well, I would say when you got to Pittsburgh, it kind of already been on the upswing, right? Whereas that's kind of crazy to go to a franchise where things are so shitty and then get turned around like that. Like that's, I mean, not many guys get to see that.
No, it was awesome. Really, really fun to be a part of something like that where you can really build it up like that. And yeah, it's definitely a different experience from Pittsburgh, but maybe more rewarding.
Hey, where's your favorite place to play? Like best road city?
Best rink? Best city?
Yes, like the whole experience of playing that team in their barn. I always say Montreal. I thought it was so sick. I didn't know what you thought.
Yeah, Montreal's off. Definitely Montreal, probably top 3. I love Chicago too. Always love playing in Chicago.
I know, it's always like -6 there though.
That's true. There were some tough games in Chicago. That's a great spot. Great environment though. It's kind of like Montreal, kind of the old barn and everything. But yeah, probably those two.
Hey, who are some of the guys off the ice that you still, some of the guys you play with that you hang out off the ice still from like either Dallas or Pittsburgh? Any other NHL guys you hang out with in the summer?
Yeah, I mean a little bit. Derek Stepan, who I play with now, we hang out quite a bit. I mean, there's a lot of guys around here in the summer, but I don't know. A lot of the Dallas guys, you know, I still keep in contact with a lot, and I'll see them a few times a summer. You know, the Ben brothers, Cody and Kevin Connaughton, who I play with now. You know, sort of that crew guys. But I mean, there's so many guys around here. You see guys every day working out and skating and stuff in the summer. So I don't know. I don't want to go down the list of names. Probably 60 NHL guys.
Humble brag. Humble brag.
I mean, you know, state of hockey, you know, 10,000 Lakes. But what else?
Before Arizona acquired your rights back when you were about to become a free agent, but they wanted to get that exclusive window before you were actually a free agent. Did you have any idea that you'd end up there, like before free agency? Were they on your list, or did they convince you in that exclusive window to come out and sign there?
Yeah, I think they convinced me on kind of on the window. I didn't really have any spots really that I was looking to go to. You know, we're still kind of negotiating with Dallas before that free agency part happened and didn't really get there. And, you know, from there, they traded my rights to Arizona, and Arizona kind of started that process. I flew in there and talked to our GM, John Chaika, and Dave Tippett at the time, and Shane Doan, obviously. And, yeah, it seemed, you know, it's kind of eerily similar to how it was in Dallas when I got there. It's kind of, you know, it's going to be a process and build something. I knew it was going to play. There's a place I was going to sign a longer contract, and you know, just the thought of doing that again, you know, starting kind of from the bottom and building this thing up. It's kind of a role that I like.
Goose, is there anything else you want to discuss? Any crazy hockey stories you want to tell us that you've been brewing up before coming on? Because we know you were fucking licking your chops.
Like, what kind of hockey stories are you looking for?
What's your funniest Whit story?
There's none. I was all, dude, I don't think you could tell any of them.
Yeah, I probably couldn't. I don't know. I just love the whole day. The whole Michel Therrien Whit thing is like, it's not overblown. Like, it was that bad. I've never seen a coach like hate a player more. It's like, hilarious. Like,
wait, if you saw Therrien in public, would you go up and like be like, "What's up, man?" Or would it be?
I always wondered that. I had a dream one time that he walked into a bar I was in. He like tried fighting me. I think he'd probably say hello. I don't know. Actually, I'm actually really curious to see.
Did you see the picture on Twitter? I tweeted at you that day. It was him and Juniors. He looked like such a trash bag. He had like a feather hair, mustache, like sick.
No, I didn't get
eating Joe Louis for breakfast, smoking cigarettes and drinking Diet Coke.
Yeah, somebody dug up his picture from Juniors, dude. He looked like he was out for about 4 days before they took the picture. Absolute trash picture. Yeah, I'll dig it up and send it to you. It's hilarious.
Have to actually fucking.
Okay, Goose, we don't want to keep you any longer here. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Goose, thank you very much, buddy. We got to catch up sometime.
Hey, tell everyone how big of a wagon.
I will tell you.
Go ahead.
There's one thing I want to say. That Sean Horkoff and Ryan Whitney golf, the live, I don't know if it was the Snapchat or Instagram of their golf tournament, was the best series. It made my weekend.
Dude,
anyone caught that? Was that public?
So random that you just said that. I was going through my phone today, going through videos, and I came across. I have a 6-minute video of me and Horkoff throughout a day in this golf tournament, and we were drinking and I got more requests to do more of those Snapchat things with me and Hork when we were just crippled playing in this golf tournament. By the way, you know that I didn't get on Snapchat, Goose. At the end of that tournament, we both parred the 18th hole, and it was combined Stableford or quota points, and we thought that was enough to win, and we started spraying each other with Bud Light and champagne, and then the guy came over, he's like, you're actually tied, and there's a playoff going down the first hole. So we had to go down the first hole, and both of us were soaking wet, covered in champagne, and we lost.
That would have been the perfect end to that Snapchat or whatever it was.
Oh,
So
God.
I just had to get an Uber to the airport.
my weekend.
Maybe I'll get some of that out on some of our platforms, Cornelli. But thank you so much, Goose. Good luck this year. If you're in Boston, you got to give me a ring. I'll hang out with you and
Goose, we missed what you said because Whit was talking over you. What was the conclusion you said?
Of what?
Well, just now you were getting your last thought out and Whit fucking.
Oh no! I was just gonna say literally that yeah, the Snapchat, the story just consumed my week. It was like it was unbelievable. I watched it over and over again. I was just checked out just watching it.
Just Whit stepping on your toes, no fucking respect. I think he's jealous you made more money than him.
I got him traded too.
No, I'm fucking scripted. Yeah, you got me down.
Now you got to come back on. Let's get
Why don't you send me your cup ring, dude? I'll sell it.
All right, enjoy dinner with your whole fucking family. It's gonna cost you what, 10 G's tonight?
Yeah, right.
Just made it.
I'm going out with some teammates. Family doesn't even want to see me, so I'm just going out with some teammates.
Okay, Goose, beat it.
All right, see you, buddy.
All right.
Thanks, Bill. Buddy. That interview was also brought to you by The Ridge. If you're not familiar with The Ridge, you got to get one, man. I have one. I've been using it for a few months now. It's outstanding. The Ridge is a minimalist front pocket wallet that helps you reevaluate your everyday carry. No more carrying the Social Security cards, old hotel tickets, all this garbage you end up carrying around in a wallet that's like 3 feet thick. No, get rid of it and get The Ridge. It was started by a father-son team that was funded on Kickstarter back in 2013. It has RFID blocking technology so people can't steal your data from your cards, nothing like that. It's made out of either titanium, carbon fiber, aluminum. It's bound together by a durable elastic band. This thing, I'm telling you, you put your cards in it. It's got a money clip on the back for your cash. You put it in your pocket. You don't even know it's there. It's not bulky. You're not going to get pickpocketed because it's in your front pocket. It's outstanding, man. Like I said, I've had one for several months, and it's redefined what the wallet game is for me. I had the old leather one. I had an old Velcro one with Motley Crue on it. Yeah, that stuff's garbage, man. And again, you don't want to be carrying old, useless stuff around, especially your Social Security card. That's just not a good idea anyways, okay? The wallet's perfect. It's got 2 sleek metal plates. It's like having a little thing in your pocket. Again, you don't even know it's there. It's my favorite wallet, and it should be your favorite wallet too if you're going to order one. I got the titanium one, and I couldn't have it any other way, all right? So you want to get on theridge.com. Go there right now, ridgewallet.com/SC, and use the code SC to get 10% off with free worldwide shipping. Okay, once again, go to ridgewallet.com/SC, and the promo code is SC, and you get 10% off with free worldwide shipping. Go there now and get the Ridge wallet. I'm telling you, you'll never buy another wallet again as long as you live. Get on it.
Thank you so much to Goose. What a guy he is. Great to talk to him, and nice to see that he's fitting in with the Arizona Coyotes. What do you got, Biz?
Well, I was going to say, I think in honor of that interview, you should pop a Bam Bam to finish off this episode.
No, I can't tonight. I feel like Sunday night's like the beginning of a week, even though every day is the same to me. Everyone else stresses on Sunday night, so I think I naturally just like stress a little. I'm like, I don't know why. So I got to be professional for tomorrow. Ambient sometimes
ambient.
No ambo tonight.
Okay, all right.
Could you guys tell I was taken by the end of the episode? Did anything change?
Yeah, it was like you weren't even recording. You were just talking to your buddies all bammed out.
Yeah, and you were
that's what I miss most.
Yeah, you were almost like in a whisper too. I think you were being quiet that night too, so you were like all like stealthy and sneaky. It was good. People are definitely commenting on it, but in a good way. It was a fun thing, you know.
Did you ever play with George Laraque? Whit?
Yeah, I did. I actually have a story, and I've told it on this podcast before. But George came in like he's a loud guy. He's looking to bet with everyone. I bet he loves betting, and so he was saying like he's actually pretty fast straight away. Like he gets going
super fast.
So big.
Nobody could beat him in Arizona apparently.
Well, he said, I'll race anyone goal line to far blue line. I'll race anyone goal line to far blue line, $1,000 or whatever. I was like, I'll race you. I'm in 2000. I don't remember. I'm like, let's do this, George. Dude, then I would see him in practice. I'm like, fuck, kind of in one here. He motors going straight ahead. He starts running, you know. So finally, we went out and did it before practice one day. And I was like stretching for 45 minutes before. I actually warmed up more for that than any game that season. And so we get on the blue line, and Terrian actually came out to blow the whistle and stand on the far blue line, say who like the winner was. Everyone was out there. Or not everyone, because that leads into the end of the story. So I beat him. I beat him by like an inch, dude. I had my start was so much better than his. And that's saying something with my start. But then he started catching up, and it was just like a locomotion, like a locomotive just catching up. You know what I mean? It was
like
just,
Usain Bolt.
And I could hear him. I could feel him coming up my back. And boom, I got to the FR blue line just by a little bit. I'm like, yes. So I go flying in the locker room, and that's why some guys are dressing up. I'm like, fuck yeah, boys. Fuck yeah, big win. I'm like, look at these calves. And I'm hitting my quads, calling them my calves. Guys are like, that's not even your calf. That's not even your calf, you moron. So, I took it down. George, if we raced another 5 feet, he would have beat me.
Wait, so he didn't want a rematch? Or he'd probably begging for it?
No, like we talked for rematch, but he got traded at the deadline, and by that time it was playoffs, and that was kind of it, I think. I also didn't want a rematch.
So he used to race guys in Arizona, and he would never lose, apparently. But the only problem was he couldn't turn. So that's why he would only go straightaways.
Yeah, straightaways. By the way, George just would he could bully everyone. He's so big, he'd come on and just bully around. But then he tried bullying Gary Roberts, and I remember one time Rob's flipped on top of him on the bus. He's like, "The fuck, touch me again!" And they were just I've never seen George actually be on the receiving end of anything, but Rob's in those psycho eyes, those wires crossed, and there you go.
The best is that
it didn't get serious. It ended right then, but it's funny.
It's when he had a penalty. I think it was for the Penguins Wits a few years ago. He was serving it was too many men, and it just said too much man underneath Gary Roberts. You ever seen that meme? Meme mistake. It's pretty funny shit. Saturday night, man, the biggest winner in the NHL probably wasn't even a player in the NHL. Christopher Haley of Winnipeg won $1 million because Finnish sniper Patrick Laine scored 5 goals in a game Saturday night. Is it pronounced Sobeys, the store up in Canada?
Yeah, Sobeys.
What is that place?
Oh, it's a
convenience
grocery store.
Oh,
it's a grocery store.
Okay.
So
nice
his name was drawn before the game. It's a Sobeys Safeway score and win contest. Vancouver, Calgary, and Edmonton players are all eligible. So Laine scored 5 goals. This guy wins $1 million. He's going to get $50K a year for 20 years. And what's great, I read up on it. He not only gets the $1 million, he actually gets the 1,000 in gift cards because of the 3 goals, and he gets the 100,000 for Patrick Laine scoring 4 goals as well. Those were 2 of the other prizes. So he
gets them all?
Yeah, he gets them all. So he totals $1,101,000 in total winnings. That's incredible, dude. We haven't had 5 goals. I think they said 2011 it was the last time it happened. It's only happened, I believe, 11 times in history, and Patrick Laine is the youngest guy to ever do it. Imagine putting the game on. I don't even know if he was at the game, but putting the game on and winning fucking $1 million because of 5 goals.
So I no, it's incredible. I'm kind of confused. Did he know it? He didn't have to be one player. It just had to be anyone on the team.
No, it had to be one guy, I believe.
Yeah, it has to be one player. If one player scores 5 goals, that's how you win $1 million. They draw his name before the game.
They draw Laine's?
No. The fan, your people put their name in to be eligible for the contest. So before the game, they say this guy could possibly win tonight if any player scores 3, 4, or 5 goals. And because Laine scored 5, he gets all 3 prizes.
So you want? You think of you want Washington or Winnipeg. Right then you're like, well, what are the best chances I get 5? Laine, Ovechkin. Anyone else jump to mind for you?
Who got it in 2011? Do we know the answer to that?
It wasn't for the prize. I didn't write down who the last guy to score 5 goals was, but no.
I think it was. Gaborik. Gaborik did it in 2007, and who did it last? Damn it! This is gonna drive me crazy.
But only 3 teams take part in the contest, so you can't. You can only win with players.
Yeah, we're not saying. We kind of got off the rails there. He was just saying if you could pick a player, Laine would definitely be one of them, and so would Ovechkin.
And I'll tell you, man, the kid Pedersen, Elias Pedersen on Vancouver, it wouldn't surprise me at all if that kid pulled 5 out of his ass some night.
Yeah, no.
So Laine is now leading the league in scoring. That guy's a stud. Hey, boys, are they going to have to sign him this summer? What do you think he's going to get? Because they're going to be running into some cap problems coming up soon here, no?
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah, when you get all that talent and it all comes due within the same year or 2 time frame, that's when GMs have to get creative, and otherwise you end up with a mess like the Bruins did after their cup, or kind of what Chicago is going through right now. You gotta be very careful the way you decide to divvy that money up.
Speaking of goals,
the Mule was the last guy to do it. Johan Franzen.
Really?
2011, yeah.
Speaking of goals, we had our Celly SZN throwback celebration bracket. We have our winners. So we had Theo Fleury going against Patrick Kane, and Patrick Kane just beat out Theo Fleury on our fan voting.
People were furious at us, Biz.
I know, and they're like, "Oh, you guys didn't even know it was a heartbreaker."
I don't watch. I never watch wrestling. Is that like? Are you supposed to know the heartbreaker and like celebration? Is that if you don't? Is that common?
I mean, I was probably at the F1 race in Montreal when he was doing that in playoffs that year. So, no, I wasn't paying attention to what exactly he did. I thought it was impressive once it was explained to me. But congratulations to Patrick Kane moving on. He beat out Theo Fleury. And then we had the Wayne Gretzky, Steve Yzerman one. I picked Gretzky. I think I should have changed I wish I could have changed my answer, but Stevie Y beat him out at 57%. So we had quite a few people vote. We had 7,500 people vote on each. So thank you to everyone who voted on the Budweiser Canada Celly SZN. Well, we got two more matchups today. We got Grinnell. Who do we got?
We have Tiger Williams versus Alexander Ovechkin. And then we have Bobby Orr versus Teemu Selanne.
Whoa, that's a heated one on the back end there. Let's start with that one. Man, so Bobby Orr obviously getting tripped after he scored to win the Stanley Cup against St. Louis. Iconic photo, but still very difficult competition considering there was more of a Celly involved in the Teemu Selanne one when he shot the duck. And that's also a picture that is pretty iconic as well, guys.
Yeah, we have a T-shirt.
Well, there you go. So who are you guys picking?
Oh, my God. I mean, we know who RA's picking. I mean, Orr's is just so much – Orr's is the celebration. I mean, it's like the greatest pick, one of the greatest pictures in hockey history. It's to win the Stanley Cup. And it's just – I think Teemu against somebody else would have a chance, but Bobby Orr, man. I mean, I also heard Teemu said one time that was a regret of his. I don't know if that's true, but I thought it was hilarious and unreal. But Bobby Orr, I mean – he's my agent. It's Bobby Orr for sure.
Hey, well, imagine back then how old school it was when this new rookie kid comes in and he's shooting the duck. I wonder how many guys wanted to kill him. Has he ever talked about how many guys said something to him like, I'm going to cave your face in after he did that?
I think he already had 76 goals, or I don't know what number he did that celebration on. That was the year when he offered. He said, Randy Carlyle, I'll pay you for your number 8. He was like, "Get the fuck away from me, kid."
Yeah, Randy that's why Randy Carlyle didn't hate him, but when he
definitely was rattled then.
He wasn't crazy about him.
I'm obviously biased, like Whit said. I mean, I'm a Bees guy. It's the most iconic photo in the sport's history, and I think like you said, Whit. I have read that quote. Teemu, he did have some, I don't know if regrets the proper word, but I think he definitely wished he did that different. So I suppose we could take a couple points away, but I got to go with Bobby Orr, man. The greatest picture ever. He kind of like trip, jump, whatever you want to call it. I mean, Noel Picard looked like he gave a little extra oomph on the stick, but Orr was already airborne. The guy from the Boston Herald took the picture. Like we said, it's iconic. Selanne's was hilarious, the shooting the gun, but I don't think that has the same gravitas, shall we say, throughout the hockey world. So Orr's got my vote, and like I said, I'm biased, so I can acknowledge that.
It'd be funny if a guy put a stick between his legs and went up and like fucked the camera hole. I mean, you think he would get sussied? I mean, guys aren't even getting sussy for biting.
Oh my God! I just actually pictured somebody.
Hey, Tyler Seguin should do that. I've crushed every other chick in this building. Might as well fuck the camera hole.
You probably would get suspended for that. You probably would at this point.
I should come back.
Just crushing the camera hole.
Hey, you go up to the one at the timekeeper's table and you start fucking the timekeeper's hole.
Yeah, you'll definitely get at least the maximum fine, if nothing else, for that.
All right. Do you have that picture in your house? Isn't that kind of like everyone in Boston has it up like it's Jesus or something?
Yeah, I actually have a different Bobby Orr picture hanging in my house. When you go to the Hockey Hall of Fame, if you've never been, there's street artists on the corner. There you go. That's right too. You got some equipment there, right?
My socks from the Top Prospects game when I fought Dion Phaneuf and scored a goal on Marc-Andre Fleury, I was the MVP of the top prospects game. Not a big deal.
Not a big deal.
Wow.
Well, they sell all kinds of hockey art, within blocks of the Hall of Fame. And I bought a Bob Orr picture. It's actually the same picture that they show in his display case. It was like $10, and I bought a nice frame, put it in.
Jeez, spoiled yourself.
It's something that you could tell someone cost $200. It looks like a piece of art. I just bought it off the street.
How about you saying you spent $10 on it? Like, you're fucking proud of that. Like, Jesus Christ.
I didn't even have to haggle with the guy either.
My best player
I'm gonna
of
go
all
with-
time, I splurged $10.
Hey, consider Timu was embarrassed by it and had some regrets about it. I'm going to vote for Bobby Orr as well. The next one, I mean, I think the old school one's going to win. We got Tiger Williams against Ovechkin. People wondering which Ovechkin won. It's when he scored, I think, the 50th goal the one season, and he did like the hot stick thing on the ice, which obviously was pre-planned.
Yeah, I never thought that one stuck. I really didn't. It wasn't the worst thing. It was just like it didn't come off as it was too hot. That he didn't play off that it was too hot well enough for me. And Tiger Williams, riding the stick. Back then that was just an unheard of move, legendary move. I think Ty Domi did it later on. You've seen it happen, but that's Tiger Williams all day for me.
Grinnell, you going to chime in here, buddy?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I had Bobby Orr for the last one, and for this one, I have Tiger Williams. I think it's easy.
We couldn't really find a good one to go up against it, but we had to have one that used a stick as a prop, and that was kind of the one.
Yeah, excuse me. I got Tiger Williams as well. Ovechkin, I think, I don't know if he's a Jimi Hendrix fan. That's what I thought he was kind of doing. Do you remember Jimi Hendrix lit his guitar on fire? It was similar to that. Like, it was too hot. I doubt Ovechkin was copping Jimi Hendrix, but it did remind me of that. Also, it's fucking Tiger Williams, man. Who's going to tell him, though? The guy has the most penalty minutes ever in NHL history, 3,971 PIMs. That's more than 400 more than the second guy, Dale Hunter. So I think Tiger Williams is pretty much going to get his way. Biz, can I give a special nominee that didn't get picked, an honorable mention?
Absolutely.
This was a great one. Actually, one of my listeners, one of our followers brought it to my attention. Mark Savard, it was 2010 playoffs versus the Flyers. Of course, the Bruins did blow that series, so people tend not to remember that series. But I think it was game 3 or 4. Remember the overtime winner he scored, Whitney? Mark Savard, he scores the blast, a laser over, I think it was Boucher's shoulder. And then he just bangs the stick on the ice as he skates toward the boards and just flings it into the crowd and, like, jumps off the boards. It's epic celebration.
I remember that.
So he gave Philly bulletin board material, and then they ended up fucking coming back and spanking the Bees.
Yeah, I don't even know if it was really bulletin board material. It wasn't really a diss at Philly. It was just a reaction. He just banged the stick on the ice and just threw it over the boards into the stands. So yeah, a little honorable mention for our buddy Mark Savard.
Well, Grinnell's going to do his work, and he's going to put both of these online so you guys can vote again. We'd love for you guys to once again commentate some funny sellies that have happened this season so far. This one kid's been just raking it. I actually sent him that gold Bud Light, the Budweiser Light. And he actually told me to bet on the game when the Buffalo Sabres were going to play the Penguins when I think we're at 5 in a row already, and they were down 4-1, and they ended up coming back and winning it. So he won the bet, and I messaged him after. I'm like, hey, how much did you hammer on him? And he says, $10. I'm a college student. And I was like, oh my God, dude, like $10? Like, Jesus Christ.
Where'd you get the same painting RA got?
$10. That was my Vig's Vig in college. Come on, man.
Hey, that's how many units RA's gambling with.
Do you think by the time we record Wednesday night, Buffalo will still be undefeated? I think they play San Jose home, so they'd be trying to get to 10 by beating Evander Kane.
And San Jose just got spanked by Vegas. I think it was 6-0. 6 Cobb. So they're going to be looking to have a bounce back game. But man, I'm seeing all these videos from Buffalo. It's like they're on a Stanley Cup run right now. It's wild.
We've talked about it. Those people are diehard. They're diehard. And I think it would be a monster show. Maybe we do a live podcast from first round playoff, their first home playoff game if they get in the playoffs. We would crush Chippewa Street, or you guys would. I would just, I'd have a couple beers and be a professional podcaster.
Buffalo is one of my favorite cities because I'm like a 5, maybe a 6 on a good day, and I just fit right in there.
People from Buffalo are loving me right now. I'm like their biggest super fan, so I'm getting so much love on
because someone told you to take their over points for the year, and you've turned into like the mayor of the Buffalo run in this.
Hey, what if Grinnell got presented a key to the city before playoffs this year?
It's coming. It's coming.
You and Jim Kelly.
He still wouldn't get a kill. Hey,
at least you can afford the bar tab because Chippewa Street's cheap as shit.
All right, so I think with that, we're going to go to our second interview of the podcast, and this is with Matthew Tkachuk, who, as everyone's noticed, has been lighting it up. Just an incredible year so far. Edmonton Oilers fans despise him. He brought back the Battle of Alberta to some real hatred recently. We actually interviewed him before that. I know we've had a couple issues with banking interviews, but still, it's a great chat, and so we present to you now Matthew Tkachuk.
This Matthew Tkachuk interview is brought to you by Herbal Active, and he may need some after that Battle of Alberta and Zach Cassian pumping his eyes shut. Use promo code BIZ20 for 20% off the entire website, or use the special Cyber Monday promotion code BIZ30 for 30% off all drops and mints. Their products include balm, drops, mints, dog and cat treats for your pet. The balm helps for sore muscles and joints. The drops help for mental clarity, anxiety, depression, and other brain issues that you may have. Hit them up on social media at Herbal Active on Twitter and Instagram. That's URBALACTIV. URBALACTIV. Hit them up on social media. They'll answer all the questions you need through direct message on Twitter and Instagram. And enjoy the product because I know we do. Folks, I want to welcome to the podcast a first-time guest. Probably one of the biggest scumbag rats in the NHL. In today's NHL, at least. He was drafted 6th overall by the Calgary Flames. He did play junior hockey in London. Quick cup of coffee, Mem Cup, not a big deal. And then he went to the show where he's been a fucking pest, as I mentioned. Welcome to the podcast, Matthew Tkachuk.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Biz. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for coming on, dude. So we have to address something right away. We're doing a couple interviews tonight. We just spoke to your younger brother, Brady, starring for Ottawa early in his NHL career. And we also had your dad on. So not only are you the third Tkachuk to join this podcast, you've also apparently – it's a fact from both of them that Brady would kick the shit out of you if you guys actually ever ended up chucking knucks. Is that true? What's your statement?
I don't think I'd ever be on the ice at the same time as Brady, to be honest. But so that's my comeback whenever my dad says he can kick my ass. But normally I say he's not allowed on the ice at the same time as me.
Oh, wow.
I don't play against third liners. I'm a first liner. That's actually the ultimate kind of trump card. No pun intended.
Well, that's all I got on him, just because he probably could kick my ass now. He's a big boy, and definitely stay away from him. I used to pick on him when I was younger, but I'm not doing too much of that these days.
So as the older brother, you're conceding?
Not quite yet. There hasn't been a time and a place where I've handed over the throne, but I'm a little tentative because I think that day might be coming soon.
Hey, rough and rowdy? Yeah, you guys want to rough and rowdy, make some money? You guys want to make some dough off this, huh?
Exactly.
Where are you right now, Matthew?
I'm up in Calgary right now. We just got back after a little road trip, so nice little get in at 4 a.m. day off. So just been watching football all day.
The old shit sandwich.
Perfect time on the schedule.
Sleep. You have to sleep all day to recover. You wake up, eat a meal, and all of a sudden it's time to go back to bed.
That's the show.
Exactly. Eat a meal, go to bed, wake up, bag skate tired. Because we don't play till not bag skate. We don't play again till Wednesday, so I'm sure it won't be too easy of a practice tomorrow. But no. I don't think any team really has an easy schedule. So, but it is good that we're starting to play some games now.
Matthew, you obviously saw Riddich's celebration before Johnny Gaudreau had scored. What'd the boys make of that?
Yeah, we loved it. He told us, actually, when we brought it up to him, he said that he did it last year as well. And then whoever was on the breakaway did not score. And then the other team, I forget who we were playing with. We were playing against, maybe it was Boston, came back, or San Jose came back and scored right after that and ended up winning the game. So, but I guess he's not too superstitious. He did it again yesterday and it worked. It was a great move by Johnny. But no, Rich, he's an awesome guy. He's hysterical, real dry sense of humor. So the boys are kind of giving him a little bit of that. He was going to go viral. Oh, yeah, he was great. Yeah, probably media whore, we call it now.
Unreal.
Did Johnny Ham and Cheese also do some sort of a point as well, too, Matthew? Like right when he got the puck, it looked like he kind of like, was he calling his shot or something? Did you notice that as well?
I'm not sure. I was on the bench, honestly, not really knowing what's going on. The two fast teams, you got McKinnon going down one end about to score potentially, and you got Johnny going the other way. It's kind of a lot going on. So I don't know what he was doing, but it ended up working. We needed that win. That was a big win.
RA's like some conspiracy theorist. He thinks like Johnny Gaudreau pointed at the net when he was going to score. He
like
said it to a few people, and everyone's like, I don't know, man. Kind of like his John Travolta reference. Oh, everybody got it. Everyone got it.
Hey, Matt,
people got it were his burner accounts.
We saw a video the other day, a tweet of you and Jason Tatum on the Boston Celtics. What did you go to grade school with him or something?
Yeah, we went to middle school or whatever it is in St. Louis. We went from 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, and then I went up to the U.S. team, and he stayed for the rest of high school at our school, Chaminade, back in St. Louis, and completely tore it up. We were actually in the same gym class together 2 years in a row, so that's kind of a cool little story. Him being an absolute stud in the NBA and me playing up here in Calgary. It's just pretty cool looking back that it was only us a few years ago, screwing around playing dodgeball in 8th grade gym class.
Are you still good pals with him?
I keep in touch with him. I mean, we don't talk a ton, but I definitely gave him a text when he was drafted and the run he went on in the playoffs. Gave a few texts about that. But we're proud of him in St. Louis, or I'm proud of him. He's obviously so young, and to see how well he did last year, and just the little cherry on top, dunking on LeBron right in his grill. I loved it. It was great. He's going to be a stud. He's going to make a lot of money in the NBA.
Was he a freak like back when you were going to school with him already, or was it like kind of a late bloomer?
He's always been like tall and like lanky. Like he hasn't been, and like as an athlete, he was always the best, but nobody really knew he was going to be, potential best rookie in the NBA this year. We knew he was going to be a stud. We knew he was going to be most likely a one and done in college and play in the NBA eventually, but he kind of, sped up the process a little bit more than I think I thought. And even though I knew he was going to be an NBA stud one day.
Do you think if he ever hurt his finger in a game, he'd need a wheelchair to get off the court like most of the fucking guys in the NBA?
No, I think he's actually pretty tough. Like I think I think he's one of the rare, the rare breeds, a little toughness. I think he'd take a lot to get him out of the game, and he's a tough St. Louis guy.
Hey, what do you guys all make of the Jimmy Butler situation? I'll ask you, Matthew, how he just fucking basically tweeted out a bunch of stuff, and then he went into their first practice and just started ripping the GM and screaming at guys.
Yeah, I don't really know what to make of it. I heard, I don't know if I have all like the facts either, but I heard, and you guys can, tell me if I'm right or wrong, but he went in with the third stringers and beat up on all the starters. Like if that's true, right. If that's true after chirping the GM and all the player, like that's hysterical. I mean, it's not a great guy move, but I think it's hysterical. I think it's funny. I don't know if I'd want to play with him, but from a guy in another sport, I think it's pretty funny.
I imagine Gaudreau like taking the black aces out and just screaming like, "Fuck you! You need me. Make me a ham and cheese sandwich." In NBA. Actually, speaking of Gaudreau, who are your boys on the road? Like, who's your crew?
That is fucking ridiculous.
I think we actually have a lot of guys this year who are pretty similar, around the same age. We've got obviously Johnny, Monty. They're both pretty young guys, but I feel like they've been in the NHL for years. They're part of kind of like our our younger guy crew. I have Sam Bennett, Mark Jankowski, Noah Hannafin, Lindholm this year. We got a lot of guys.
Fucking squad.
We got a nice little.
That Sam Bennett is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, he's a mutant. He's great.
Oh, mutant is right. I went to the Stampede this year and met him, and he fucking lined up like 40 shots. Like, I fucking had to introduce myself yet. The guy's fucking lining up like 40, 80 shots.
Most likely Burnt Reynolds. Yeah, most likely Burnt Reynolds. No one from experience.
They were Burnt Reynolds.
No, they weren't.
I was like, who the fuck orders these anymore?
Wait, what's a Burnt Reynolds?
No idea. But I remember the name.
What's a Burnt Reynolds, Matt?
It's like, I don't even know. I think it's a little bit of, it's two different things mixed in one. And it's two
awful. Alcohols.
But then he loves them.
I feel like it's his thing. And like he like loves it because he knows like the boys talk about it.
Yeah, Bugsy with Jaeger.
Jägermeisters. Yeah, the Jaeger.
Bennett's known as the Burnt Reynolds guy at the bar.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna love it. I brought him up with that tomorrow. He's gonna love it.
Yeah, he'll be thrilled. Hey, I gotta ask about Monahan because there's that like parody account to him on Twitter. Is it like boring Sean Monahan? Do people just chirp him for interviews and stuff, or is he just quiet naturally?
Like, that's just like I even saw that account before playing with him, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna probably play with him. He's not gonna say pretty much anything, just be pretty straight faced the whole time. And he's like completely the opposite once you get to know him. Like, he's an unreal guy. So funny, like great sense of humor, dry sense of humor. Definitely isn't like monotone or like doesn't talk a lot. Like he especially once you get to know him, he's real outgoing. But yeah, I thought the exact same thing when I was first drafted because I didn't know any of the boys going into my first training camp. So I was like, all right, I see this boring Sean Monahan Twitter account pop up, like, oh God, like this isn't going to be, wasn't expecting this. And then you meet him, he's kind of a complete 180. He's an awesome guy. And great sense of humor.
Is he the guy in the room that's kind of doing most of the chirping? Like he's going after people, or is there another guy in there that's kind of the clown?
No, I think there's a few guys that, I don't know, kind of do a fair amount. I think the guy who, other than game time, because during game time he's so he's real serious and he's obviously pretty dialed in at all times. But I think in the morning skates or in practices, I think Gio's a guy who likes to throw out a lot of chirps, and so is Hamonic. But I'd say Gio probably takes the cake for the most subtle stuff. It's just like little stuff. It's handle it stuff, and you've been awful today in
wrist
practice,
curls,
and
wrist curls,
mix in a water, Bennett.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who's your road roommate?
We have an odd number of guys right now in on the ELC, so I actually do not have one right now. But last year was Jankowski. The year before it was half Brett Kulak and half Sam Bennett. So kind of some of the guys too that have become my closest buddies as well.
Now, one of the earlier preseason games, you had the A on for a game, correct?
Yeah, and I have one during the regular season here as well.
Well, that sounds like the coaching staff.
That was a nice way of saying I got a fucking letter in my jersey.
Hey, I'm not just I was a preseason letter. Whitney was a preseason letter guy. Matthew Tkachuk's a regular season letter guy.
Yeah.
Suck on that one.
No, that's what I'm getting at. And speaking of playing like a veteran, you certainly were when you decided to back up Drew Doughty's tree a couple of years ago. Now, was any of that stuff sort of premeditated, or did it just happen organically and you said, screw it, I'm just going to ride this wave?
Yeah, I mean, it obviously, playing against guys, especially the teams out west, you play them so much that you're going to, have, I wouldn't say enemies, but you're just, it's unnatural to start to like, not like them, if that makes sense. Like, you're gonna not like them when you play against them that many times. So I think the first couple of games of the year, real intense games, He's a very intense player, likes to, and I wouldn't say likes to chirp, but likes to play hard. He's an emotional guy. So I kind of feel like that's how I am too. And it's kind of one of those things where I'd like to say an accident happened. I got suspended for a couple games and probably said some things that I probably shouldn't have said in the media after, and that he said in the media after that got us going and I got them going a little bit. And yeah, that one game, it was kind of, I don't even know if that was a real hockey game. It was more just like a freaking brawl every single whistle.
Medieval times dinner and tournament.
Yeah, it literally started in warm-ups. There was like 5 guys on 5 guys at the red line. It was pretty classic. But yeah, that game honestly wasn't even like a real game. It was crazy. It was real intense. But I think that's just something that just boils over from a bunch of times playing against somebody and a team you just don't like.
Now, when all that shit was going on, did any vets pull you aside and say, hey, kid, what are you doing here? Or cut the shit, or did they just kind of let you do your thing?
No, they kind of just let me do my thing. And I remember thinking about it at that time. I was like, I could either just sit back this one game, because I knew everyone was coming after me that game. They were pretty much mathematically eliminated from playoffs, and we were, 1 point away from clinching or whatever with like 6 or 7 games left. So I kind of figured, I was like, this is either going to go one way or the other. And it depends on how I want to handle it. And I was either sit back and take a little bit of abuse in the first period or first shift, and then hopefully it, is all forgotten. You could just play, or you can do a complete 180 and go right after them. And that's what I decided to do. And I definitely didn't regret it. And it was pretty, like I said, pretty intense game. And it's still pretty crazy playing them. There's always a little bit of that still when we play them today.
Matthew, I was when Sean Avery came on, we talked to him about playing that rat role, and I asked him a similar question. Do you get like any type of anxiety going into games knowing you have to play that type of role?
No, I honestly don't think about it, Biz. I'm more of like, I don't think that really affects players in the NHL. I mean, I know it doesn't affect me if I'm playing against guys like that. I think the main thing that affects players and the things that piss me off are like the guys you don't like playing against, who are real hard to play against, that also like can produce. I think that's the most frustrating thing as a player, playing against guys that on other teams that are emotional players that play hard, that also produce on the scoreboard and help their team win. Like, to me, that's the most frustrating thing to play against. So that's what I try to do each game I'm playing, try to play that hard, intense style, help my team and produce. And I think that affects players more than anything.
So part of your job is essentially balancing it, where you can't be putting too much focus and effort on being the rat side of it, because you're going to be expected to produce. So you have to walk an extremely fine line to not be giving too much energy to the shit way, because you got to fucking put up numbers.
Yeah, honestly, I don't really put any energy to that part. It kind of, I guess sometimes it just comes with it.
Wow.
But going into games, I definitely don't really think about it. Or put any extra energy into it. I guess
that's amazing that you can do that organically. That's very fucking impressive.
Yeah. To be honest, it just doesn't. Yeah, it's definitely not something I go into games thinking that's how it's going to be.
You're not going to ramp up the rat level tonight. You don't like.
No.
Okay. All right.
No, especially in those games where, like you said, you're expected to produce and you're expected to help your team that way. You definitely don't think about it. But I think in those games too, sometimes the other part of it comes even more naturally, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but your dad was an amazingly skilled player and could score with the best of them, but he also was just a prick to play against. So Brady plays a similar way. You play a similar way. So, I mean, it had to be watching your dad and how he played and idolizing him, and then him telling you how he thinks the game should be played. And that is, when you hate playing against someone and the fans of the team you're playing against hate you, that means everything's going right, no?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just growing up around him every single day, you pick up everything in the way he played. Like we want to play like our dad. That's just how it was. Even little stuff like that, he would say that not a lot of people think about the way, I don't know, just think of something right now. Like he's like, when you hit somebody, hit to hurt them, like stuff like that. Like you don't just hit them to hit them. You like, that's little stuff that when you're in front of the net, you battle until you score a goal. Like he says that stuff that maybe some people don't really think about, but when you think about it that way, that's kind of how you end up playing. And he was a goal scorer and played a real tough physical style, but man, he was a 500 goal scorer. So scored a lot of goals in the NHL, and that's ultimately, not a big deal at all. But ultimately, me and my we want to produce, we want to score goals, but we also want to be tough to play against, and ultimately we want to be winners. So hope all that translates to becoming a winner someday.
It's amazing. It's he's so simplified. Where like Adam Oates would come on and he simplified everything, and it just goes back to be in front of the net, battle until you score a goal, and that resonates, and it ends up fucking sure enough turning into a nice NHL career.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm wondering, when you were growing up, I mean, you're around the rink, you're hanging with your brother in the Blues locker room. Who was the guys that you kind of always loved being around or having, kind of followed around? When we asked Brady this, I'm interested to see if you say the same names.
Yeah, we were always around. I think later in my dad's career, once we realized, we wanted to be NHL players too, and we realized, like, I know it's going to sound bad, but like the sick NHL players that he was playing with at the time, I think you seem to hang out and kind of creep on those guys more at the rink. I know we were around Paul Kariya a lot later on in his career, like when we would go on the ice before practice. We had David Backes and Lee Stepniak live at our house along with Phil McRae. So we were around them all the time. And I think a guy that really went out of his way too to play with us at the rink and to teach us new things was David Perron. So I think a lot of those guys we really learned from, and we liked hanging around. When we're at home, we're always like, Dad, let's do this, let's do that. When we get to the rink, we're like, screw you, Dad. We want to play with these younger guys that are more of studs. So I think that's kind of how it was. And that was during practices. I think during game days, me and my brother, when we go there, especially when we were younger, we just go in after games, win or loss. We just play mini sticks in there, fight, and that was kind of our routine.
Hey, you mentioned Paul Kariya. Did you end up picking up any like superstitions from him or anything? And maybe in his routine?
I didn't until like I became older, when my dad would tell like the old tales about Paul Kariya. But I didn't pick up any when I was there. My dad was telling me that, or me and my brother, that he would never walk. He would never walk to the rinks on game days or practice days, no matter how close it was.
He wouldn't walk upstairs either.
Yeah, he would stretch for hours before practice. He would chew his food however many times, so it was like easier to digest or something. Like a bunch of these crazy superstitious things that you hear about, and yeah, I guess they're all true. It's crazy.
Matt, you had 44 fewer penalty minutes in your second season than your first. Was that by design? Did you consciously say, I got to take fewer penalties? Or did your coaches tell you that, or was it just kind of happen to play out that way?
No, I think I wasn't really happy with my production personally in my first year. I felt like I could provide a lot more to the team than what I did in my first year. I know I was still young and stuff, but I felt there was more to be done offensively. So I think in year two, I tried to take that next step offensively. And unfortunately, I missed the last month and a little bit with an injury coming down the stretch for hopefully making a playoff spot. So that was real frustrating. But I think in year three, I think I still want to play that tough style and that hard to play against style. But I do want to take hopefully another step offensively and make our team a playoff team. I think looking back after these past 2 years, we got swept in my first year and didn't make the playoffs last year. I think being home and watching that first round of playoffs and watching playoffs throughout all the way into the Stanley Cup final, it's so painful, and it's so, it's almost like you're helpless. There's nothing you can do. And the talk kind of around here is we don't want to ever let that happen again. So I think that's the only step that's one of the main steps I really want to take this year is I definitely don't want to be at home mid-August watching playoff hockey. That's for sure.
Matthew, one thing I'm surprised Whit didn't ask you about was the national teams you played on and how fucking stacked they were.
Yeah, it's crazy. We were actually, a few of us were looking back on it this summer. I think there's only 2 or 3 forwards from our U18 team. Our U18 team in Ann Arbor, Michigan, that hasn't played an NHL game yet.
That is fucking insane.
And that's kind of ridiculous. I think it was 9 or 10 out of the 12 or 13 forwards have played an NHL game, and that was only 2 years ago. So, I have nothing but great things to say about the U.S. team and all the guys that have come there and how great they made us into people and players. Being able to train with the best every day was I mean, you're practicing every day against Austin Matthews. Like that, if that doesn't make you better, then you should quit hockey.
Yeah, that's true too. It's a good way to look at it.
No, so there are so many guys that you were competing against every single day. So I wouldn't say there's a surprise. Actually, it is a surprise that there's that many guys that have played an NHL game already. I wouldn't say like down the road that would be a surprise number, but
I mean, we're talking about a few guys here who are, I mean, Werenski, Hanifin, Matthews, McAvoy. We're talking about fucking superstars. I mean, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a pretty good birthday. That's we had a pretty good birthday. That's all I really got for you on that.
Well, hey, the only guy that was above you in scoring your 18 year, besides Austin Matthews, is it Jack Roslovich? Am I saying that right?
Yeah, Jack Roslovich.
So I don't think a lot of people know about him yet. He's a stud, though. No.
He honestly is. Like his skating is Eichel skating. They skate exact same. He completely flies, and he's one of my best friends. He's an awesome guy. He's a guy that when I played with him and in Austin, our U18 year, they kind of just threw us together as a line. Right before the midway point of that year, and it was like an automatic click right away, and we had a great year together. And I think ultimately us three looking back on that year at playing with each other ultimately made us all better, and that's all you can really ask for.
Hey, what are you doing downtown, Brady, especially with all the traveling? Are you a card player, movie, TV guy? What's your specialty on the plane or in the hotel room? Or are you one of these Fortnite weirdos?
Nope, not a weirdo like that at all. Never played Fortnite, and I swore to myself that I never will. It's outrageous.
What did your father catch you playing that night, though, when he came in your room? He said he caught you playing something late night. What game was that?
Yeah, himself probably.
Yeah, so I've got a little something to say about that. That's a little blown out of proportion.
Whoa.
Yeah, he was making it. He was making it seem like I was freaking up till 4 a.m. playing Call of Duty, which I was playing Call of Duty. It wasn't that late. It was just after dinner playing with a couple of guys. But actually a pretty good story I got for you guys. Actually, the next night, because he was mad at me, he kind of chirped me on the show for having a late night, so I'll give it to him right back now. So he goes out with a couple of the guys we're playing the Blues on like a Friday or Saturday. And he goes out the night before our game, meets with a couple of the Blues, like medical staff, equipment staff that were around in his day. And he goes out, pretty late night or whatever. And I always give him my spare set of keys, just come back, be quiet. I got a game tomorrow, all that stuff. So I get a call, and my phone's never on. It's always on Do Not Disturb or whatever. I get a call at 1 a.m. from a random Calgary number. And I would never answer this in my life. But for some reason, I answered it. And it's the concierge down in the lobby of my apartment building. And he goes, "Hey, Matthew, there's this random guy down here that says he's your dad and says he forgot his keys and his phone and everything out at the bar or restaurant he was at, and says I can let him up to your room. Like, what do you want me to say to him?" I was like, well, I don't know. Like, what does he look like? And he goes, he's a big guy and he's bald. I go, fuck, send him up. So I guess he just left everything at the bar or restaurant he was at, came home and tried to convince, this is at like 2 in the morning, and tried to convince the concierge that he was my dad, which he was, and the concierge didn't believe him. So I told him the next day, I go, hey, your time's done. Nobody recognizes you anymore. It's a new day and age now.
In Canada, nonetheless.
Oh, man. That's a shot to the ego.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, no, I think that might have hurt him a little bit, that he's not recognized as much as he was back in the Winnipeg days here in Canada and the St. Louis days.
Oh, that's a tough one.
All right.
So yeah. Anyways, roundabout answer. So, like, are you a card player? What do you do with the movies, TV? What do you do to kill the time?
No, I'm only card player. Only I have to sit at the pit and play cards. It just makes the flights go way faster. I can't be sitting there on my computer or phone the whole flight. I got to play cards. It makes it go by faster, and plus a little bit of bonus when you have a little bit of spending money on the road.
Hey, your dad ever tell you any of his gambling stories?
No, he doesn't tell me too much of those. He tells me about I think some of the classic stories that everybody hears about. Like I think a bunch of them were going to I forget where they were going one night, but they were tied late in the game. I'm sure you guys have heard the story. Where
I told it.
Legendary.
Called the shots. I think they were taking a flight to, I think either Vegas that night or somewhere on a day off or something. But that's just the legendary stories that I hear about. I don't hear too much of the other stuff. I think he keeps that pretty hush hush.
Hey, you and Brady, and you're like, Dad's telling the Vegas game winner again, for Christ's sake. We've heard that one.
Exactly.
There's way crazier ones that I've heard, and we will not ever tell them on this podcast. 'Cause he's probably got a hitman in Arizona. Hey, he's probably got a guy here that will bury some bodies.
What games do you play on for cards? What do you play on the all poker related games? Dealer's choice. What?
No poker. Yeah, no poker. We don't. I think it's a little too much work bringing a bunch of chips and stuff on the plane. But it's anything from 13 up, 13 down to Schnarps.
Schnarps is fun. Schnarps is real fun. Who's the biggest lemon on the team? Who's a donation every time?
Who's the ATM machine?
Right now, the ATM machine is Mark Jankowski. But that
awesome guy. Awesome guy.
Awesome, great guy. So we don't feel we feel bad about it, but we still accept the money. But
do you blue light him? Do you blue light him at all?
Yeah. At first trip, we're like, because him and Austin Zarnik are new to the table. Me and Lindholm, we're just like, all right, you guys haven't played this game before. Like, we'll just do half. Whatever you guys were supposed to owe, just do half. And then the next trip, me and Lindy got completely roasted by these two. And, we didn't have to, we weren't paying half. Like, they didn't say, hey, here you go, guys. You just have to pay half. Like, of course, we had to pay the full boat. So we're coming for blood now every fight.
What does blue light mean?
No longer a friendly game.
Yeah, exactly.
When you said blue lighted, for our listeners that don't know, what does that mean?
Oh, it means, like, are you going to take some, like, let's say you owe the guy $150. You say, just give me $100.
Okay.
You blue light him.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Who's the fucking gambling guy now, R.A.? Hey, who the fuck's the gambling guy?
R.A. was playing, Uno.
I'll bet, there's money to be made. I'll bet on anything. I don't.
Uno.
Hey, Matthew,
you're on fire tonight.
You play some G, or you just kind of chill? What's your deal in the off season?
Say that part again, Whit.
Sorry, what do you do in the summer? Like, do you play golf, or do you just chill? Like, you got any hobbies in the off season?
Yeah, normally I've been splitting my off season. I've been splitting time in my off season the past couple years. I normally go to St. Louis for the first half, kind of take it easy. From the past 2 years, like I said, we were out pretty early, so I spent the first little bit in St. Louis and play golf all the time, and we have a great course that we play at in St. Louis. So, and then I'd go to Cape Cod always, where my parents have a place. I go there for 4th of July, and normally after that I head up to Toronto and work out with Gary Roberts, who I've been training with for the past 3 years, and love training with him. He's been awesome for me. And kind of when I go up to Toronto, I seem to start not golfing as much and not doing the other stuff as much and trying to start dialing it in a little bit. And it seemed to be a pretty good routine that I've liked doing the past couple summers. But normally it's St. Louis, Cape Cod, Toronto, and, maybe a couple vacations in the middle of all of it.
Tell the listeners who Dad's neighbors are down the Cape.
Yeah, so down in the Cape right now, one of the I'd say the big one that everyone's gonna probably love hearing is Bobby Orr lives, in the same complex as us. So we see him out on the course all the time, and I know they play golf in the the member guest tournament where they each bring in a guest, and Bobby's great. He's an awesome guy. Like, I don't know what all the stories or the wise tales you guys have heard about him, but he's like one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life, and just seems like he'd be unreal to play with back in the day. And he's just, I think he's been great for the game. And he's cool. He always comes. I actually had a pretty cool story. I had a bunch of buddies down for 4th of July this past year. Actually, Biz, Devo, and Fish were down there. And
awesome.
And so I had a few more buddies from the Cape who brought some of their buddies down, and we're playing, some wiffle ball or hanging out by the pool, and a couple cold ones celebrating the 4th. And Bobby's just driving by on the golf cart and stops by and just starts, taking pictures with everybody. And it's not like he did it in like a cocky way where he's like, all right, who wants a picture? But it's just like everybody wanted one.
Got a kissing
and
booth.
He was just such a great
$5
yeah,
a pop.
Exactly. He was just such a great sport about it, all of it. And he's so famous, especially in that area and in the Boston area. It's crazy the way people react, in front of him. But he's a legend, one of the best ever. It's pretty cool.
Brady, last couple questions. Are you single?
Brady.
Or fuck, did I say Brady?
Oh,
yeah.
Fuck,
All right. Thanks for having me, guys.
Fuck you, Matthew. You're not going anywhere. Come on, I hit the weed pen. It's getting late. I hit the same one Ray was taking. Matthew. Sorry. Back to my question. Are you single? And the reason I ask is, have you been able to get out with Hannafin, and are you going to be riding that guy's coattails all year?
What a rocket!
Yeah, I am single. And I have been out with Hanny a couple times this year so far, and yes, I am riding his hotel. Yeah, he seems to, but he's not. I've been out with him, but he has a girlfriend, so
Oh, perfect.
I seem.
Now there's no competition.
He's a good way.
You're like, hey, you got to get through me to get to him.
No, he's it seems like all the guys with girlfriends. We have a lot of guys on our team that are, kind of in our crew that have girlfriends, but there's still a few of us that are single. So it's a good mix. But Hanny's a great guy to go out with, a great wingman. Seems like all the guys with girlfriends are the best wingmans, I guess.
Well, that's it, buddy. That's all we want from you. Sorry I called you Brady. Sorry RA called you Brady. But Whit didn't. Yeah, at least there's some positives in this.
That's why Whit's the best right there.
I was just
our own interview.
I was just trying to think of who the toughest brother was. That's why his name came to mind. Anyway, thanks for having you on the pod. And tell Smitty I said hello.
I will. Thanks for having me, guys.
Hey, keep ripping it up, buddy. Good luck.
That interview was also brought to you by Omaha Steaks. Me and the Whit Dog last year, we went through so many Omaha Steaks at holiday season. We bought them gifts for all the guys in our family. People bought the gifts for us. It's the best steak you can get out of there on the internet. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Omaha Steaks. It began with a father and son who left Riga, Latvia years ago to escape religious persecution. Came to the States. Basically, it became the American dream. They ended up in Omaha, Nebraska. Started with the steaks and off and running, man. Everybody knows Omaha Steaks. When you mention Omaha, the first thing you think of is steaks. And right now, they're giving an incredible deal. It's 74% off Omaha Steaks family gift package, okay? It's normally $195. You can get it for just $49.99 when you use the promo code Chiclets, okay? So you just want to go to omahasteaks.com, put in the promo code Chiclets in the search bar, and you're going to get this huge, gigantic discount. One more time, omahasteaks.com, Type in Chiclets in the search bar, and you get the family gift package. Add that to your cart. You're going to get $195 worth of stuff for just $49.99. Can't beat it. All kinds of cuts, all kinds of great stuff. Check it out. Do it today. OmahaSteaks.com, promo code Chiclets.
Big thank you to Matthew Tkachuk for coming on, a true throwback player. I know a lot of you listeners are going to complain about, oh, he turtled on Cassian. Who gives a shit? This guy's a gamer. He could play for me any day of the week. Funny guy, too. Guys on his team love him. And I don't think he really gives a shit that you don't like him, because that's his main objective out there. Public enemy number one when he steps into away buildings. We wish him luck this season. And, yeah, that's pretty much all I got about him, boys. What do you think?
It's great talking to him. I mentioned you, Biz, a while back. My very first interview of an NHL player was when I was doing an intern in college, and it was Keith Tkachuk. I talked to him after the Phoenix Coyotes' very first game as the Coyotes back in October '96. So kind of done a full circle thing. Talked to both, Brady and Matthew. So it's pretty cool from that aspect. I mean, it just means I'm old because I've been fucking interviewing guys for decades now. But personally, it was pretty cool to talk to him. And like I said before, I know the whole family, the old man and stuff. And it's been nice to see him not only make the NHL but succeed at this level. So it's good to see.
Couldn't agree more. And boys, one thing I want to touch on is Dan Carcillo once again took a jab at us on Twitter, just basically saying that we make light of CTE and make light of bullying. I fired back. I said, no, we don't. We talk about hits. We talk about whether they should be suspendable. I sometimes fuck up with words or names or ad reads because I can't read. I make CTE jokes about myself. Obviously, I've had enough concussions where I suffer from some issues. I make light of my own personal situation. I'm self-deprecating. That's what I do. Like, I don't care if the boys shit on me or if people rag on me. I don't make fun of other people's situations. Obviously, there's a lot of guys out there going through some things. I respect Dan Carcillo and everything he's doing as far as bringing awareness to this concussion situation. I don't necessarily like how he's going about it in some instances by trying to throw guys under the bus and basically, if you're not on his team, you're against him. He apologized right after for misspeaking. But keep in mind, this is the second time he's came at me on Twitter. The first time was after me liking a Tom Wilson hit tweet where I was just trying to save it so I could reference it on the podcast. And that was after I told Dan that I would gladly have him on the podcast to discuss what he's doing, the research he's found. And of course, he's been through a horrible situation with his best friend, Steve Monador, committing suicide, who suffered from concussions and CTE and post-concussion syndrome. So I just want everyone to know we are totally on board with what he's doing in learning and educating himself and educating others. I'm not fucking down with bullying either. I think we all know that if someone's going to try and bully someone, that they have some deep-rooted issues with themselves, and that's why they're doing it. We're good people on this podcast. I wouldn't surround myself with people who aren't good people. If we may sometimes come off a little bit offensive, most of the time we're going to say, hey, we didn't mean it in that regard. We're just out here having fun, trying to make people laugh. And we don't like to talk about a lot of serious issues on here because we feel like this is a 2.5 hour window where people can escape their daily lives and just have laughs with us regarding hockey stories like they're back in the locker room. We get countless messages from people saying, man, it's the best 2 hours of my week, or it's 4 hours of my week now because we're going to 2 episodes a week. In their commutes, some people, ride tractors that are going through like farming season, and they say, oh, it's fucking awesome, and they catch up on it. We're here to have fun. We're here to make light of hockey and all the behind the scenes stories. So if we come off offensive, we're sorry and we apologize for that. We're not bad people. We're just here having a good time, and we hope you guys are having a good time too. So Dan Carcillo, we wish you nothing but the best moving forward. We mean no ill will towards you, but just please stop coming at us. Like, I don't want to have to fucking bring this to the next level, which I will, because I'm a bit fucking psycho when it comes to people trying to like portray me in negative light, because I'm not a bad person. I'm not mean-spirited. So that's all I have to say about that.
You're a great guy, Biz. Great guy.
Well, when I sleep.
When you're sleeping.
Well said, Biz.
I actually would say, give like my son full reign to just go attack someone, even if he sees someone else getting bullied. Like if you're getting bullied, you got to attack back, right? You got to teach your kid. You got to do, what does a bully hate? Punch in the face, right? But even if he were to see somebody else getting bullied and he went and stopped it, I would never get.
Even if he gets a week suspension from school for sticking up for his kid,
he has free reign to attack a bullier at any point in his life.
So that's all I got to say about that. Like, let's get back to the fun talk, and I don't want anyone fucking mad, or just want to have a good time.
All right, let's have some fun talk, and nothing more fun than gambling, right? What, Doug? We like to wager on the NHL on occasion, and let's bring back the RA's gambling corner for a little bit. It had a little hiatus due to me taking a little time off. I was getting spanked hard, needed a break. But before we get to my gambling corner, I just want to talk to you guys about Quip for a second. All right, holidays are coming. You're going to have to buy some gifts, and one of the hottest gifts this year, again, like last year, is the Quip electric toothbrush. This thing is outstanding. I've been using it since I think the podcast started. It's got the pulses on each side. It tells you when to turn your toothbrush. Most people don't shave the full 2 minutes. Toothbrush for the full 2 minutes. They don't know when to turn over. The Quip is awesome, man. It tells you when to turn over. It tells you when you need new bristles. I love this stuff. It's the gift that keeps on giving. They automatically give you new brush heads on a dentist-recommended schedule every 3 months for just $5. You can get prepaid refills if you want to give that as a gift to somebody. Quip is also one of the first electric toothbrushes accepted by the ADA and has thousands of verified 5-star reviews. I'm telling you, man, no more like cheap freebies from the local dentist. That's what I always use for years. You end up spitting out bristles. Not anymore. Not with the Quip. The Quip is great for you, and it's great to give as a gift, all right? You want to check it out, and you can find out why everybody loves it. Quip looks like a big-ticket tech gift with a stocking stuffer price, starting at just $25. If you go to getquip.com/chiclets right now, you get your first refill pack for free with a Quip electric toothbrush. But you don't have to tell your giftee that, okay? That's your first refill pack free at getquip.com/chiclets. But I've been coming around a little bit, so I got some picks for Tuesday night, a few games I circled. I'll be happy to share them with you. Bet, as always, at your own discretion. If you lose, I don't want to hear about it. But taking a look at the slate, Carolina, Tuesday night, they're at Montreal. I like Carolina on the money line. I like the way they've been playing lately. Their celebration, talk about Celly season. They've been taking it to a new level with what they've been doing. If Niemi starts, I would, in addition to the money line, take Carolina on the puck line too if Niemi starts and plays a price. So Carolina money line. Next play I like that night, the Golden Knights of Vegas. They're at Chicago. Blackhawks just haven't impressed me or anybody, I don't think, this year. They're just not good. Marc-Andre Fleury, if he's starting, that's the caveat here. If Saban's starting, I'm not going to play it. If Marc-Andre Fleury is starting, take Vegas on the money line. They're on the road, so you probably get a nice puck line price as well. Although that's its own caution with that one. Did you see what's his name the other night? Radulov stopped the empty net of Wits from happening.
Yeah, I did.
That was a $4,200 swing for me right there.
Did you win or lose?
No, I lost $50. But if Radulov doesn't block that shot, or if McKinnon hits his empty net, I would have won another $4,200 that night because they had all parlays and shit tied up in it. Go ahead, buddy.
Regarding your comment about Vegas, I feel like they're starting to find their stride too. They finally got Schmidt back, and he's been playing really well.
Big difference maker. Pacioretty had 2 last night.
I was going to say, he's heating up. He got 2 against the Yotes with the OT winner. He was very quiet up until that point, but he's kind of starting to step into that James Neal role, or at least what he did for that team last year. But yeah, they looked very good. They transitioned so well. Like their whole lineup plays with a certain pace where it's just like go, and they roll lines over. So I believe that they've caught their rhythm. Another guy, that Alex Tuck, is fucking nasty. I remember somebody arguing with me when he signed that deal. They're like, awful contract, unproven. I'm like, the guy, I think what's his average? 4.75 for the next 7 years. The guy's going to be, he was injured coming into the year, but he's going to be maybe just below a point a game. The guy's the real deal.
I think when you look in 5 years, he'll average 51 points.
A season? So you're saying
no, I'm not saying he's overpaid, but I'm saying I don't think he's going to be a 75, 70 point guy I don't believe.
Okay, so at $4.75 million,
still a nice contract. Very nice contract. I agree with you.
I would say that if you're putting up 0.6 points a game on the season, and you're adding other intangibles, that's a solid deal. And I'm gonna look him up right now. I think this year he may even be close to a point a game already.
Is he really? I might have lowballed him. Maybe I would change that to 61 average.
So far this season, he's played 17 games. He has 7 goals and 10 assists, and he was dynamic against.
You know what? I forgot he was injured at the beginning of the year. Yeah, I mean, he looks sick. It's so hard to be a point per game guy in the league. But either way, his contract's nice. His contract,
if he's getting 60 points a year, he's earning it. To me, he's got like a Wayne Simmons type contract where he has not been paid for what he's brought to the Philadelphia Flyers. He's making just under 4.
A couple other picks I liked as well. Philly is playing Ottawa also Tuesday night. I like the over in that game. I think those goaltenders just aren't going to be up to snuff. I see like a 5-4, 6-3 type game. If the over under 7, lay off it. If it's 6.5 or lower, take the over. And one final play, Buffalo is playing San Jose, as Whit just mentioned a few minutes ago.
You're taking this.
Dude, I've been cashing in on the Sabres left and right lately, man, between money line and puck line.
It's tough to run into a streak, though, dude. Are you going to mush them, or you've been taking them every game?
I haven't mushed them the last couple of times I had them out. And I don't know if I'm going to take them on the puck line. I'm going to wait and see who the goaltenders are. Martin Jones hasn't been great for San Jose.
Yeah, it's tough preseason Vezina pick for me.
Yeah, they're kind of scuffling a little bit lately. So I'm going to take Buffalo on the money line, and if depending on the goaltender situation, it could follow that with half a unit play on the puck line as well. So just to reiterate, Carolina money line, Vegas money line, over Philly, Ottawa, and Buffalo money line.
Did you see Friday night when there were 15 games on the slate, 10 home teams hit their puck line?
Oh, that many, really? I knew a bunch of home teams.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Merle's texted me the next day. He's like, you see how many home teams took down the puck line last night? God damn it. I was like, kids in South Korea just ripping himself for not getting enough puck line bets in on a Friday night. Speaking of, before we wrap this up, I am somebody who has dealt with a certain amount of embarrassments in the field of sport, right? When I was playing, some bad turnovers, some bad falls, things that were embarrassing. There has never been a human being on the planet embarrassed more in pro sports than Hugh Jackson today, the assistant coach of the Cincinnati Bengals.
What do you mean?
Biz, I figured you hadn't seen this yet. Everyone listening, for the most part, already has seen this, right? It's already pretty much not gone viral, but everyone knows the story if you're following the NFL. So this dude was the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. I don't know for how long, say 3 years. They were terrible. He didn't get fired after not winning a game one year. They were trash. And he started the year, the head coach this year. He was on like Hard Knocks and everything. He started, Baker Mayfield's not going to be starting all that. So they gassed him. I don't know. I want to say like 3-4 weeks ago. All right. Do you know for sure? Does that sound right?
Yeah, I want to say maybe 3 weeks ago. Probably about 3 years too late, but either way.
Yeah, exactly. So his old buddy in Cincinnati, Marvin Lewis, this guy somehow still a head coach in the NFL. He hasn't won a playoff game, and I don't think 30. I don't even know if he's ever won a playoff game. I maybe I'm wrong there. Either way, he's been a pathetic coach in Cincinnati for a long time. So this guy takes on Hugh Jackson as assistant. So they play the Browns today, Biz. The Browns are completely trucking them. I think they were up 28-0. At one point, dude, this was the embarrassing moment. A guy from Cleveland picked off the Cincinnati quarterback, interception, ran over and handed it to Hugh Jackson on the sideline of Cincinnati. And this idiot took the ball. Like, if that's me, I would slap the ball out of the guy's hand. Like, fuck you. Dude, he just, took it and, gave him a pat on the head.
Oh my God, I just watched it.
And then after the game, did you see he went to give Baker Mayfield a hug, and he just was like, get away from me, buddy. He just got pigeon tossed after pigeon tossed.
Yeah, this is like a posterized, but the NFL version.
Yeah, worse. I mean, this is a coach's worst nightmare. You get fired, and then the team you get fired from trucks you and basically embarrasses you.
Why is he touching Baker Mayfield's head after the game?
He tried to hug him, and he's like, get off of me, dude. It was just, when the guy handed him the ball after the pick, I was like, Have some self-respect, Hugh. Jesus Christ. What are you playing, the NBA?
God, yeah.
Probably a little glimpse into why he wasn't a successful coach.
Wait, what did you get more secondhand embarrassment for, that or the taxi ride?
Taxi ride, because I have done the taxi ride, and we knew Wideman, and I know Duchesne. That was ultimate. That was ultimate.
Hate to bring that back up, but boys, overall, great little upbeat. Another 2 interviews.
Episode, fellas.
Yeah. I just want to give one quick note in case people are wondering. We mentioned Laine's 5 goals earlier. The record for goals in a game, if you were wondering, is set by Darryl Sittler. He did it on February 7th, 1976 for the Maple Leafs against the Bruins. He also had 4 assists that game, so he has the record for most goals in a game with 6 and most points in a game with 10. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, Biz.
Holy damn,
I had a goal in the game. Gagne had 8 points.
No way.
Crazy.
Yeah, that is wild.
Actually, some loser wrote an article after that happened saying that he should have only had 7 points because the goal I scored, he kind of got poke checked. But you know how the NHL is. If you're controlling it,
if the guy never had possession.
Yeah, and either way, it was just such a weird argument to make after. He actually only should have had 7. It's not like he broke a record, but it was still the most incredible night to be on a team with a guy who got 8. And I saw Geggs recently get called back up by the Vancouver Canucks. So happy for him. He's the man. And on that, we'll let you guys go. Thank you so much. And was this what my man voice was like?
Yeah, baby.
Sing us happy birthday, Wits.
This is late night Spittin Chiclets we're going to talk about.
I got a disgusting voice, so I'm going to sign off right now like I'm Ryan Malone. Come on down to Malone Chevrolet. Thanks for listening.